allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hey, welcome everybody. Minutes, please. Minutes.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the minutes. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Do we know who's here?
You got the sense.
Roll call.
Brickner,
Here.
Stone,
Here.
Graham,
Here.
Sims,
Present.
Bozak,
Present.
Vasquez,
Here.
Rivas,
Here.
7-0.
First reading.
The following appropriations come before you for your consideration. General fund hourly, 28,000. Tires, tubes, and loops, 20,000. Parks operating salary, 13,000. $2.50. 3,413 per 1,463. Sheriff DEA proceeds. Release payments, 11,668. Cop Tech grant. Data processing equipment, 350,000. Reimbursements, 105,000. Cops hiring grant. Salaries, 26,770. FICA, 2,048. PERF, 8,727. Medical life insurance, 9,700. Westchester Library improvement reserves, $152,000. First reading.
Thank you for that. Commissioners. Welcome. We have
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
transfer of $1,500 from equipment other than vehicles to care of patients and inmates. Transfer needed because account is depleted.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion, a second. Any further discussion on that transfer?
I just want a clarification. It says care of patient
Yes.
and inmate.
This is mental health inmates who are being transferred to a state facility. The county is required to provide clothing for them.
Okay.
That's what this fund is for. And I'm sorry, I didn't know the last meeting. Our assistant was out on vacation days before and days after, and I couldn't get the answer to that, so.
Any discussion? We have a motion, a second on the transfer. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We have another transfer, $1,000 from hourly to overtime. Transfer needed for overtime to cover jailers for administration, building security.
Our normal security person, Joe, he has some sort of a lung infection, Legionnaire's disease, from what I understand. And so we have to pay overtime to somebody in the sheriff's department to cover that.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion, a second. Any discussion? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. And let me see, one other item here. We have another transfer, local income tax from LIT, $10,000 from other equipment to auto, truck, and equipment supplies. Transfer needed because account is depleted.
This is for vehicle repair, and our vehicles are aging, and we've depleted that account sooner than expected.
What do we normally have in that account? How much?
I'm sorry, I don't know what the normal budgeted amount is.
Can you guys let us know, please?
Yeah.
And my next question was going to be, I don't know what that number is going to be. Is 10,000 enough? That doesn't seem like enough money to handle throughout the rest of the year for repairs on all county vehicles.
I'm sorry, I did not put in this request, so I did not do the estimate as to what would be the appropriate amount of money. I just have an explanation for what it is.
So they brought a carry forward last year. Other than that, there's just no money that's been put in that line item.
How much do we budget for it every year?
Oh, this is for this one. How much did we budget
Yeah,
for auto? None.
none?
None.
Oh, okay.
But there was a carryover from last
There's
year?
a carry, yeah,
Okay.
there's a carry forward.
How much was that, if you don't mind my asking, sir?
2,200, 2,300.
Oh, they've only spent 2,300 this year so far?
That was from last year.
But,
0 this year.
It was the carryover, so that's, I guess, the.
Wow.
okay, I'd move to approve.
Okay, we have a motion, a second, to approve this transfer. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Thank you.
Commissioner, are you going to stick around for a while at the end, or maybe now we can maybe just discuss? I think you guys opened some bids, just talk a little bit about how that went, or we could, if you're going to stick around.
Our meeting today,
Yeah,
the bids came in very favorably for both the garage and the health department. We're very pleased. And as soon as our construction manager on the garage and our architect on the health department has an opportunity to review them, we'll be reporting back to you. We already do have the health department on the agenda, right, Andy, for the health department renovation for the July meeting.
so did you award, I thought I saw that you guys were awarding one, the jail roof got awarded,
Yes, we awarded that with Corellis Roofing today.
and then you opened the bids, and they're going to be reviewed together.
Those bids were opened up a week ago, and they were awarded today for the jail.
They were awarded today for the jail?
Yes.
I mean, for the highway.
Oh, next week, Tuesday, at a special meeting, we will be awarding the bids
Yeah.
for the garage.
Open today.
When you,
But they came in very favorable.
favorable meaning lower than we had hoped.
Yes,
Cool.
And the meeting next week that's a public meeting?
yes. It's at 10 o'clock.
Thank you.
And you had mentioned, I think Skillman was looking at the other facilities.
Yes,
And-
they're looking at 4 facilities, JDC, this building here, 157 Franklin, and the courthouse. And they have come up with their recommendations. We asked them to take a look at the building envelope and the MEP, mechanical, electrical, plumbing, and they have sent that off to the estimator, and we should have an answer back in a couple of weeks.
Couple weeks, we'll know. But
Yeah.
do you have any idea what the extent of the work is?
Well, the one thing is, we wanted to start there and see how big that, or how small that was. So if we still have some room, then we can go and peel the onion even further. If it's too big, then we'll probably have to scale it back somehow. But Joe Wizawati actually was part of that, and he might have some additional insights on that process, so, if he's here still.
Well, no, I appreciate you, the work that you're putting in
No.
to it. Appreciate looking at the other buildings also. Thought it was important, part of the whole process.
And we've tentatively scheduled the garage presentation for the July meeting, tentatively. So, your July meeting.
Okay, perfect.
We're just not sure if we're going to be quite ready for it. I'm sorry, not the garage, the jail. The jail. I apologize. Jail phase 1 and 2.
And as soon as Skillman gets those numbers, you'll share that with us.
Absolutely, you'll be the first one to get them, Jeremy, okay?
I appreciate it. Appreciate you letting me know.
Alrighty.
So,
Commissioner, can I just ask, how's the Opera House going? Are we ahead of schedule? Things going good? Any hiccups?
There's only one small hiccup, and it's not, well, actually, kind of a couple of little hiccups that aren't really holding it up. They found some compromised, what do you call them? Timbers in the flooring in the lobby. And we're waiting to hear from the architect on how best to proceed with that. what process they want us to use to make sure that they're secured properly. And the only other thing is that we're working with the foundation because they've been fundraising all of June. They would like to make the stage and the dressing room ADA accessible. And so they've raised funds, and we want to see if we can somehow get some of that into this. But we haven't had that meeting yet with the architect, so.
I'm just curious, and maybe you guys have already worked through this, but if the foundation starts throwing money into the Opera House, and say things 5-10 years from now go bad, do they own part of the building?
They do not.
There's contracts and everything that
Yeah.
protect us?
Yeah.
Just curious. Thank you.
Commissioner, in regards to the beams on the floor, do you know if they're warped or rotted? Because it'll make a difference in the cost in regards to,
I'm not exactly sure what the issue is, because if they were warped or rotted, that would be an easy answer, just to replace them. I have the feeling it's how they're secured, and they don't know if, if the foundation is strong enough. So they're trying to figure out what the best solution is to make sure that it's
thank you.
sound.
And how much money did we hold back for problems, unforeseen problems?
250,000. Any other
The
questions?
question for the commissioner?
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Alrighty, you're welcome.
Public defender.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
625.
Motion and a second to approve this transfer, $625 from training and ed to liability insurance.
You've changed, Ken.
Hopefully for the better.
Absolutely.
Any discussion on this? We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Thank you.
Motion carries. Thank you. Park Department.
What's up, Jake? Tony? Good. How about you?
Jake?
How's it going?
We have a, let me see, Parks General Fund transfer, $13,003 from hourly to salaries. Transfer needed to cover new full-time position through 2024.
Yep. So what we're, microphone. So what we're hoping to do here today is to create that full-time maintenance position that we had about a couple months ago. And working with the board, we found a way to pay for the entire salary load of it for the remainder of this year through transfers in our general fund and the additions of our operating fund, and actually splitting the cost of the position 50-50 between the general fund and our operating fund.
Any questions for Jake?
Does that pick up insurance, perf, et cetera? Everything, or just a set, just,
This is just a transfer over. So it would cover everything 50-50.
okay, insurance included, right, everything.
Yeah, we'll have to do the insurance on the next one, but yeah.
Just to make sure I'm clear, is this are you adding another position, or is this the position we had approved previously?
So this is the second one from that original the
one we said yes to already, you got it?
Yep,
The additional.
this is the other one, yeah. Okay. Yeah, so the naturalist was approved at the last one, this is the maintenance repair position.
So you found a way to pay for it for this year. What about next year?
So next year, the request is to split it 50-50, so we would cover half of the position and the general fund would cover half.
How long will you be able to sustain that, Jake? Your half?
I can sustain our half right now perpetually.
For how long?
Indefinitely. I can do this number. I'm confident in the revenue we generate that we can sustain that half pretty quickly right now.
That half?
With no issues, yeah.
Is there going to be any savings? Like you don't have to outsource certain things you had been outsourcing before because now you got another maintenance tech, anything like that?
Well, yeah, one of the biggest things is this is going to help us take care of our buildings better, keep up on the landscaping better, we cover a lot of stuff. I mean, one of the things that we actually do, in addition to our regular responsibilities, is we maintain the grounds for 2 of the highway garages.
Okay.
So our guys are spread real thin, and we're doing with 1 full-time and 3 part-time. So getting those extra hours and that extra person is going to help us tremendously.
Department.
Oh, that's news.
That was news to us too.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys didn't know?
What?
Should they build?
Do you build a highway department for your guys working there?
Nope.
You may want to look into that. That may, because we just had one department, the highway department people helped another department. They got a bill.
Do we want to?
Want to look at that?
Do we want to get into that business? Because now if the highway department spent, I mean, we already are short in the highway department, so we're just gonna have to put money there to replace what they take out.
I'm just saying, if it's
I'm
happening.
just asking, I don't know.
I don't know either. I'm just throwing it out there.
Yeah.
If your guys are being used in another department, they're parks people, you know, and then that leaves you thin. Now, you come in front of us, and there's the problem. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. And there's wear and tear on the equipment. I'm just saying, do we want to start causing that divide where departments are not working together and just spilling each other back? Maybe we do, I don't know.
I would hope that the county departments would work with each other,
Get each other's back.
you know,
Yeah. I mean, that's how I view it.
charging each other.
About that.
No.
It's just that we just need the people to help us maintain it. We've got an incredible amount of acreage, plus with the addition of some of the other spaces that we've got out in Westchester Township. It's just been, they've added a lot of acreage. We haven't added people.
As we've added acreage, our staff has decreased over the last 5-6 years. So it's going in the wrong direction.
Are these people mowing, the maintenance repair technicians?
Yeah. Yeah. So they are maintenance and groundskeeping. So they do all the mowing. They do our equipment, vehicle repairs most of the time. They fix the buildings. They do our plumbing, our HVAC, snow removal. So they do it all.
So on this,
Repairs though too, I think it's important that you have people that know what they're doing. You know, it's nothing that you can deal with part-timers for.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're going to attract and retain good people, you have to be able to pay them benefits. So it's a position that they're going to stay in with their skill set.
and I understand that, but I just want to make sure. So, hey, Karen, this is the insurance. They will cover the insurance on this as well, right? On this petition. 20
I understand.
Okay. 'Cause I see FICA perf and maintenance. I just didn't see insurance. 'Cause
So that would be something we'd have to come back. I wasn't entirely sure how that was going to work with it being split. So we'll just come back next month and do the appropriation for the insurance.
and you have that
For
covered.
that, yeah.
Allow-
We've got that money.
Okay.
Well, it'd be another
What's the pay on this new position? Because all we have is, I assume, the half-year pay?
second.
Yeah.
It's like 50 something a year?
So it's 55, or it's 52,250
Okay, so it'll be your lower paid position, lowest paid.
is, I've got it right here. Anyway. Yeah, so it's 52,250. So yeah, it's, so all in all, the actual split, like the county's half next year would be about 26,000.
Jake, just, I'm sorry. I was just gonna.
I apologize. No, go ahead, President.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just, so at the last, you were asked for 2 full-time, and you were approved for the 1.
Yeah.
This is you went back and went to the drawing board. This is the second one that you asked for.
Yeah. Yeah,
And-
went back and found a way to cover it, at least for this year in-house.
And you can't pay, there's no way you can cover the full amount this year.
Not this year.
Out the insurance, we would just, that would be too far, we wouldn't be able to cover all.
We wouldn't be back if we didn't need it. We really need it for our purpose.
And I'm just gonna share with you, we're really looking to, really looking to kind of freeze additional people right now. We're into June. I mean, I'm just kind of putting it out there. Till we're getting our arms around the general fund and see, how it's gonna, how it's gonna pan out for next year's budget. I'm just putting it out there that, so this is an additional person, again, that the general fund, you're looking for us to, not us, but the general fund to pick up 50%.
Yeah.
Of this individual. How has this work been getting completed up to this point?
Very, very thinly and by the edge. So,
Yeah.
But we did give you a choice when we approved both positions and asked which one was more important.
Yep.
You chose the other one, and I appreciate you putting this together. I'm not against this plan for this year. I'm worried about next year in the budget, because you're adding 26,000, and we already gave you a new person.
Yeah.
A lot of departments are asking for new people, and a lot of departments need them, and we're not gonna be able to do that for all the departments that do need them. So, I mean, in my opinion, I fully support the parks. We were able to do something for you guys this year already, though. I don't know if this one, it's doable, personally.
So when you say thinly, how are you, how is it getting done?
We're stretching guys thin. I mean, I've got one full-time maintenance guy and 3 part-times. We're hiring seasonals now to help take up the slack, but stuff gets missed. Stuff starts to fall apart. Yeah.
Well, seasonally, you only cut grass seasonally, so
We cut May through October, and we can only hold seasonals through August. They go back to school.
you're talking a few months.
But the buildings don't shut down in the winter. Neither does snow.
But
What if-
in
For our
off-season,
events.
They're maintaining trails, they're maintaining their signage, they're cleaning up, underbrush, they're doing a lot of different things out there. It's not just,
Snow removal for parking lots if you're using the,
I'm sorry,
snow removal for parking lots for the, if you're using functions during the winter.
right? Repair, maintenance, repair, maintaining equipment that we have, making sure that it stays in good working order. If you don't maintain it, you're not gonna, it's gonna rust, you're not gonna get the years out of it that you need.
Jake, we have one full-time maintenance
Just one.
for our entire parks.
Have you discussed or thought about, because I mean, you can support a part-time person, and I know that's not preferred, but what if you were to do a part-time person for the 26,000? You can cover it next year, you can cover it going forward. As you guys get busier and you keep bugging us and keep saying, hey, I need to make them full-time,
I mean, the issue with that is,
think,
we've been doing that for 2 years now. I've been dragging a guy along part-time, and I'll just be honest, he's gonna quit soon. We can't keep him.
yeah, but you can get new. I mean, there's people out looking for jobs, and there's gonna be, it's mowing grass. I'm not cutting it down.
You
but
can't-
It's mowing
can't
grass.
find
16-year-old son does it for Burns Harbor Park.
HVAC repairs, work on vehicles for $21 an hour.
Get that, I get that.
It's a lot more than home.
Yeah.
It's maintenance of parks, it's maintenance of the equipment, maintenance of the buildings, it's a lot more.
I don't know if that's what I'm saying. If the big need is mowing grass, if it's maintenance, that's a different story. I took it as the main need was grass, and you'll use them for maintenance, and it's a good thing. I would love to do it.
You volunteering to cut the grass?
I got a question to do that.
Oh.
Sold some property. What if you took a portion of that money? I don't know if you got, what'd you get, 500,000?
400, yeah.
Would you, 400,000?
It's all allocated to capital development. I don't think we could use it for personnel.
It's all allocated already?
It's not appropriated, but it's already been allocated for specific capital improvements.
Well, I'm just throwing it out there as
Putting the
a
toilets out there, we're really trying to squeeze water from the stone.
Yeah.
kid. I'm just saying, what if you took some of that money, covered it full time for, 5 years, put 100,000 towards it?
Karen, can you do me a favor, if you don't mind? The 26,000, the half, what is the balance that they have where they're taking this money from? What fund is that, the hourly? And what do they have, what is left in there? I guess we're just adding,
General
We're doing additions in the 1179. It's transfer out of the general. So that'd be the 3.
So in their parks operating fund, they have 350,000.
I'm just hesitant to add additional people this time of the year. I'm not, your argument, I believe that, there is a need. The parks was a priority to try and shore up. We've been trying to work with Jake. I guess I'm just kind of going to throw it out there. I didn't know again, I'm going to ask, I know it would be stretching you thin, but if you could cover this position and then at budget time, we could revisit it. But adding in another additional person in June is, again, it'll be at the pleasure of the council on a vote, but I'm just kind of throwing it out there. If there's a way for any department, if they wanted to cover a salary, if they had it within their budget, that's a little bit different scenario than kind of getting into the general fund at this time of the year.
When you start using your other funds for for a full-time employee, 100%, you then have to also cover 100% of the health insurance. And that's always been a very large hurdle to cover, or to, you know, to clear. So I don't know what the current allocation is per employee for health insurance.
20.
But that has been,
And then times that by all the county employees, so that's why we
right, and that's
have a
why
huge bill at the end of the year.
it's just such a large, for a $52,000 a year.
I get it. I get it.
As of this point in time, they brought in $250,000 this year so far, and they've expended $85,000.
And that's been mostly with our summer camps, and those are all paid in advance, so.
Yeah.
Our revenue.
Yes, our
flow is
revenue
high in the
will
beginning
trickle.
of the summer, and it's gonna trickle down at the end of the year.
I'll make a motion to approve the transfer of $13,063
Second.
from hourly to salaries.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on this transfer. Any further discussion? Okay. Karen, is this, we're at the transfer? So all those in favor of the transfer signify by saying aye, please.
No.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign? Aye.
Aye.
Better have a,
You know what, I gotta turn up my hearing aids.
you better.
I want to just do a roll call, probably be easier.
We're gonna do a roll call vote. We'll do a roll call and a transfer.
Here's a question real quick. If you don't do, are these coinciding with each other? Meaning if they don't pass and give you the person, would you rather keep it an hourly?
Yeah, if it doesn't all go,
You guys aren't gonna pass the salaried position. There's no point to move it from hourly to salary and it sit there and do nothing.
You might want to vote on the 144 first.
Okay,
I would think either way. I mean, if
Either
you
way.
support the second one, you're going to vote for the first one, right? So, I mean, do it whichever way.
so we'll do a roll call on Form 144.
That's not the motion, though.
Is this the first employee, or has that already been passed? That's passed. So this is on the newer employee.
The newer one.
The repair.
There's a motion second. I mean, if you support the 144, if you support what they're doing here, you'll vote for the transfer. If not, the way to block it is to vote against the transfer. It's simple.
So roll call.
Graham,
Yes, very reluctantly.
Sims,
Yes.
Bozak,
Yes.
Vasquez,
Yes.
Brickner,
No.
No.
Rivas.
Yes, motion to approve the 144.
Second. You guys have been doing a great job. That's why I'm jumping on board.
and we
You guys have really done a lot of great work.
I agree.
No, I didn't mean it like that. It wasn't a vote against it.
No, I,
But that's what changed my mind.
I'm,
I actually have a career technical education program starting out there from the Juneland School District. We're gonna have
I
a
love it.
civil construction starting out.
Love it. I love it.
It's, and
Pretty
they're
excited
gonna be
about it.
doing some improvements to our building for us. It's gonna be amazing.
I will say that you are a department that has been doing an awful lot with very little bit for years. So that's one of the reasons why I'm voting for this.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
And I'm strictly just, I would rather come at budget time and do.
I understand.
Exactly right.
We told them no at budget time.
No, we told them no at budget time for one person, for no people. We gave them one person.
I think originally they were asking for,
Yeah, I got told no for 2 last time.
yeah.
Yeah. We gave you one.
Motion on the floor for the 144. We got a little more work to do to finish this. But
We have a motion, a second now for the Form 144. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Sims,
Yes.
Bozak,
Yes.
Vasquez,
Yes.
Rivas.
Yes.
Brickner,
No.
Stone,
No.
and Graham.
Yes.
0.
Okay.
Motion to approve the additional out of the park operating fund, $2,413.
Second.
We have a motion, a second for the additional, it's $2,413 to FICA. Any discussion on that? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Brickner,
Yes.
Stone,
That'd be the FICA for the additional person,
Yeah,
correct?
yes,
Yeah.
that's both the additional person and
And,
the hours.
yeah, no.
The first additional for FICA was actually there was a shortage during budget time on the FICA line item based on what we had previously been budgeted for hourly. So this is just gonna actually clean that up, but then there's a second additional for the actual position.
The second, okay, so yes.
Right.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for clarifying that.
Oh, no worries.
Brickner,
Yes.
Stone,
Yes.
Graham,
Yes.
Sims,
Yes.
Bozak,
Aye.
Vasquez,
Yes.
Rivas.
Yes. Motion to approve the additional $13,062.50
Second.
salaries, 1,000 FICA, 1,460 to perf.
Okay, we have a motion. I think there was a second.
Second, yes.
Yep. This is the addition. Now, this is for the person that we just voted, majority vote for, correct?
Yeah.
Their-
Yeah.
Right.
So this is their FICA, or their, okay.
FICA
All right.
salaries.
Roll call, please.
Stone,
No.
Graham,
Yes.
Sims,
Yes.
Bozak,
Yes.
Vasquez.
Yes.
Rivas,
Yes.
Brickner,
Yes. Okay, now we move to,
Motion to approve the 144 out of the park operating fund for the maintenance repair tech, 0 to $26,125.
Second.
okay, this is the,
voted on the 144.
This is the second one from the second fund.
Okay.
so what's the difference now between this one and the one that passed?
That's the other half.
They're just, we
1179.
just had to do 144 for each fund.
And the FICA and perfs all coming out of park operating fund for this new employee?
And you,
It's not
it's not as insurance, correct?
Yeah,
We just have to come back. for
we just have
insurance.
to, we just have to
50%.
come back and appropriate cost for that.
But half the salaries under the park general fund, half's under the operating fund.
Yeah.
But all of FICA and perf are under the operating fund, correct?
No,
So-
half,
50%.
Yeah.
50%, the other 50% is covered by the commissioners out of their general fund, 0068. Okay.
I love how you remember all the account numbers.
Okay. So we need a roll call on this Form 144, correct? Okay. And we,
Yes.
Sims,
Yes.
Bozak.
Yes.
Vasquez.
Yes.
Rivas,
Yes.
Brickner,
yes,
Stone.
Nope.
okay, all right. I think we got, thank you,
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
And you're doing a great,
We appreciate it.
We can't wait to see what happens now. There's gonna be some cool stuff, right?
Now the fun starts.
Are you increasing the activity for the winter, just for, in order to generate more revenue?
That's gonna be a big part of the naturalist.
That's the naturalist part to get,
Okay, that's what I thought.
boost up the revenue.
Your beard's getting big. You could be the naturalist.
I made a motion for all the money.
you gotta help.
Keep up the good work. Thank you, guys.
That was at the.
Health Department. Bring it
Hey.
up. Bioterrorism response.
Stop by.
Camp- Oh,
Good evening.
How are you all?
hello.
Good evening.
We have a transfer request of $2,420 from contractual services to data processing. Reason transfer needed to cover the cost of emergency preparedness. Staff Surface Pros budgeted for the BP5. of the
Motion to
Motion,
approve.
second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on this transfer?
Not sure what that is.
That's our emergency preparedness grant. So when we appropriate for that, we appropriate the whole grant into contractual. We, pay them out of there, and then they cover things like their storage and their Wi-Fi and those different supplies and training that they need. This year, they had budgeted with this to get Surface Pro laptops as a part of that money, which was.
Oh, that's what Surface Pro meant.
Yeah, but that is something that they would leave, obviously, cannot be theirs. It would need to be the county, so we need to appropriate it. We already have the funds from the state into that account. We just need to appropriate it into that line item so that we can pay that invoice out of there.
So it's already there from like the SB4, basically?
It's already there from BP5 of this. We've already
Okay, I just-
invoiced the state
Wrong
for it.
acronym.
Okay, I just gotta remember all the different letters and numbers.
I know, they do that grant in a 5-year cycle. So it's the same grant number, received a number, and years, and then we start all over. So we're finishing out BP5 now. On July 1st, we start BP1 on the new.
The budget period,
Right.
acronyms.
Budget period.
They run
BP1.
July 1st to June 30th, so it's super fun.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. Any further questions or discussions on this transfer request? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. Next, we have the COVID Workforce Co-op Grant Fund. This is a Form 144 change, the school liaison public health nurse to school liaison health educator. Is this the title change?
It's a job description change. So this is another grant fund we had gotten for a school liaison position, and the nurses were all sharing this position. And then at the beginning of 2024, we had submitted for it to be one position out of this grant fund, and they had just put in the nursing position for that. But what we found now is we have a great relationship with all of our schools all over, but on the clinical side, you know, we go into the immunization clinics and we can school nurses need. And now we're seeing needs to support, of course, other staff, which we would do. And so we're seeing that that might be a nurse when we open it up, or it might be a social worker, a teacher, even a teacher with an advanced degree to go in and do, if they needed, to help with curriculum or delivery of curriculum and things like that. So we just kind of wanted to open that up wider so that we could support them in more ways. So that's all it is. It's just a job description change.
Motion to approve.
Second.
In that, excuse me, in that job description change for the title, would it require a higher educational standard for that individual?
It opens it up to just different opportunities. So instead of a BSN or an RN, they would be able to be an educator, have a teaching degree, potentially have a social work degree. It wouldn't have to necessarily be a higher level degree like a master's in social work or that kind of thing.
Or a master's in nursing.
It would just open it, or a master's in nursing. It would just open it up to make it more flexible so that we can find the right person to provide more varied services to our schools as opposed to just nursing.
Thank you.
Good. Any other questions? Okay, good. We have a motion and a second for the 144. Roll call, please.
Graham,
Yes.
Sims,
Yes.
Bozak,
Yes.
Vasquez,
Yes.
Rivas,
Yes.
Brickner,
Yes.
Stone.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
I want to let the council know that I want you to congratulate Dr. Stamp. She's decided to stay. And that was a position that was at 48,000, so she now receives 150,000.
Thank you.
Dr. Stamp, on behalf
My
of,
thanks.
I'd like to thank this Kit Kat for staying.
We already offered her 100,000 more.
Oh,
Not a dig.
Cat,
not a
though.
dig.
It's good.
Thank you.
Good news. Westchester Public Library.
Congratulations. Yeah, he's gonna be low on sugar.
Evening.
Evening.
How are you? Library Improvement Reserve Fund, LURF.
Hey,
We have LURF.
thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You trying to say, huh?
Thank you. Exactly.
Thanks.
You realize how.
Thank you.
Don't try to pigeonhole me. Look at this, man. This is that Indian in me. What up, brother?
Okay, thank you for this. This is a additional $34,400 supplies, $57,616 to other services and charges, and $60,050 to capital outlays. The reason here, WPL requests $152,066 additional appropriation from its 2011 Library Improvement Reserve, LURF, fund for BC design, paint, furniture, and flooring to renovate the public meeting room and staff offices at the Bauer Center.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. Any discussion?
Anything cool going in there?
Yeah, furniture that isn't 1,000 pounds when you try to move it. So for public meetings and things like that, we'll have tables on wheels and high weight limit chairs that are plastic and lightweight. So
Cool.
yeah, it's a good thing.
You have a lot of great programs there. I
Oh,
wanna
thank you.
You guys, my kids love it.
Awesome. Thank you.
Very good. Any further discussion, questions? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Bozak,
Yes?
Vasquez,
That's you.
I know, I just want to finish this. Yes.
Sorry.
Davis,
Yes.
Brickner,
Yes,
Stone,
Yes.
Graham,
Yes.
Sims.
Yes.
I didn't mean to put you.
thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Keep up the great work.
Thank you.
911.
Not a handwritten quote either.
Yeah. You know who that is, Gemina's painting?
Yeah.
Yeah, from Chesterton.
Yeah, good guy.
Yeah, real good guy.
Okay, I believe this was what was tabled last meeting. Looks like this is a transfer. Foundation fund, this was, yep, tabled, transfer 11,590,051 from salaries to data processing equipment. Transfer needed in lieu of the additional tabled foundation fund request from our May meeting for the Motorola Solutions change order number 3. So you found some alternative to
Yes, sir.
how to fund this?
I'll make a motion to approve this.
And this was all verified by the auditor where everything's good. Thank you, guys.
I talked with Debbie Gumman. She explained to me isn't it a backup for the equipment that they have?
Right, they're looking at options and they've got to get new Motorola.
Right, so,
And VHF.
and from what she explained to me, the room that they have all of this high-tech equipment in is overheated easily, and you need this backup to make certain that the whole system doesn't blow out, and if it does,
Well, this equipment is, as I understand it, the storage unit that we'd originally agreed to will run out of that space in about 4 years. So this is just a larger server that we can use for a longer period of time.
Right.
And this was all verified by IT, our IT lead. Looking out for you.
Okay. Appreciate you looking for other ways to fund it. We have a motion and a second on this transfer. Any other questions or discussion?
Taking this money out of salaries, will it short you to the end of the year for salaries?
Right now, we have a surplus in salaries because we're so shorthanded.
Okay, thank you.
Well, on a regular basis, they have at least 400,000 to 500,000 that goes back to the account. But theirs is a 911 the user charge, so.
Right.
It's not the general fund, but it is, they do have 28 positions in one, and they have at least 6 to 8 at a time because of the turnover.
Thank you.
Good. Any other questions? Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor of this transfer signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
You know, speaking of turnover, I'd just like to ask, last year, we initiated a new program, money, to hopefully have people stay. Do you notice more people staying longer, or
It's
a high turnover?
this year we've already lost 3 people. Now 2 of the people that are no longer full-time stay on part-time. So,
So it really isn't helping what we initiated.
it's kind of hard to
From
say.
what you
So,
just said.
from this first half of the year, I would say probably no, but
Thank you.
thank you.
Thanks. Sheriff.
Dun, dun, dun.
Sheriff Garage General Fund.
Uh-oh, brought the heavy muscle.
We have an additional 20,000 to tires, tubes, etc. Appropriation needed to cover the cost of tires for patrol vehicles shortage due to manufacturing price increases.
Yes, the tires have gone up approximately 10%. Brake pads have gone up about 15%. So that clearly cuts into our budget. We get about 25,000 miles per tire, set of tires, and brake pads are about the same. So when our guys are putting on, 25 to 35,000 miles a year, and you're traveling at the speeds they do, oftentimes you get a lot of wear and tear. So we go through brakes and tires, and with that increased cost, we've gotten short on it and almost depleted that fund. Unfortunately, there's no grants out there for vehicle maintenances. So maybe purchases at times, but not maintenance.
Any questions for the sheriff?
I have none.
Well, they need tires and brakes and so forth, so I'll make the motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve this transfer. Any other?
It's an additional.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm looking still at nine, I'm still looking at 911.
I know it is.
This is an additional 20,000, yep.
It's needed.
And we,
for guys to be safe.
yeah, and we train our officers, and we want them to drive responsibly, and we want them to, treat the vehicles as best they can. And so we do things internally to send that message that, be responsible, but get to where you need to get as soon as you can get there.
How much did we have budgeted at the beginning of the year for these? So it's going to double.
Well, we're projecting it to double. I mean, we're in the middle of the year. I'd rather take care of it now, and if we don't use it, it goes back into the general fund.
So it's going to double for 2025, probably.
So you're saying that the problem isn't here yet?
Pardon me?
You're saying that it hasn't really occurred yet, but you're projecting?
Well, we've depleted our funds almost. So we're asking for an additional 20.
Fund.
They had 20,000 to start the year, and they're down to 3,100.
Oh.
Right.
When you have the brakes done, who does them?
Our mechanics.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that'll help some.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't you request an additional last year too, in this fund? In this fund? Yes.
I think it was.
You get tires.
I think it was come back and see us when you need more money.
It's out.
I just.
So hello.
Need in this fund.
Yeah, we're here. All right.
So we're going to anticipate a 2025 increase in this line item, most likely to 40,000. Okay. I don't remember. Is there a motion and a second?
Motion, Sylvia made the
Yeah.
motion.
Okay, if there is, any other questions for the sheriff on this additional? Okay, roll call, please.
Graham,
Yes.
Sims,
Yes.
Bozak,
Aye.
Vasquez,
Maybe, no, yes, it does.
Yes.
Yes.
Stone.
Yes.
7-0.
Okay. Now we have, moving to another additional, from the forfeiture fund, $11,668 lease purchase appropriation to cover the cost.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Is this in the car?
Yeah.
We have a
For our highway interdiction unit.
It's for the license plate readers. Okay, we have a motion, a second. Any questions?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yeah.
We're expanding that program.
No, these cars don't have LPRs on them.
Oh,
Okay, we have stationary ones, we have flock ones, but this is a Motorola version that the highway interdiction units are pretty much across the country have access to, and they communicate better. We can track vehicles, suspect vehicles, traffickers, things like that. And so this is specifically going on the 2 highway interdiction vehicles.
What's an interdiction vehicle?
What's that?
What's an interdiction vehicle?
Where they're cars.
Oh, just
Yeah, they're Explorers, yeah.
Is this different from HIDA?
Yes, yeah,
Separate?
separate, yeah.
Okay.
And again, these are coming from the forfeiture funds, which hopefully these are an investment to seize more money to get back into that fund.
Well, just hopefully no more crime or drug.
Well, that's what we're hoping. Don't want them coming through Porter County, right? I'm totally fine with sending that message. Yeah.
Does that seizure, Sheriff, with the prosecutor, are they going through that to get?
No.
How's that?
No, so what we're doing is we're going through DEA, okay? So we have task force officers that are assigned as TFOs, okay? And what happens is, because this is a federal seizure program, we get more cut than if we go through the prosecutors or the state. So it's where the prosecutors, if we go through state, they get the majority of that fund, okay, of that seizure, where we get up to 80% of that, and the feds take 20. So it's a much better ratio locally for us.
Yeah.
So these are the officers assigned to the DEA then, not?
Well, they're not HIDA.
Right.
There's one of us in a Portage, okay? And it's part of the Porter County Highway Interdiction Unit. So it's an actual unit established and ran out of the sheriff's office.
You guys usually averaging a year on seizure?
It depends, because we also have HIDA officers. We have our PC MEG officers, you know, the undercover unit that sees money, and then these. So it varies, but you know, they're working hard and they're trying to do as much as they can for us.
I guess that was going to be part of my question to the first category. I mean, we're using our vehicles for the interdiction and the HIDA and the drug enforcement, wear and tear on tires, tubes. That's why I was wondering if any of this HIDA money can be used to offset costs. We're looking to double this for next year. We're using our vehicles for these.
Well, that's something we can look at. I'd have to look at the parameters of where, by statute, what we can spend these funds on, okay? We use these funds for purchasing vehicles at times, okay? You know, at the end of the day, and I recognize that that's a lot, and I know our expenditures are a lot, but I also know that we also pay for about $500,000 of other things annually that we don't want to come to you guys for. So, you know, for right now, I can tell you, I don't know if that fits the parameter for tires for the forfeiture fund.
But even so, you're only dealing with a few vehicles, and
That's 2 vehicles, right?
this 20,000 is
And honestly, that's,
out of,
yeah,
out
right,
part of this.
right.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
And IDA pays for 80% of the revenue.
Yeah.
We have 4 lease cars through IDA that pays for all the maintenance of those cars. It's a different entity, I would say, IDA and then PC.
Excellent. I forgot again. Do we have a motion on that?
Roll call.
We do? We're ready for roll call?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do roll call.
Sims.
Yes.
Bozak.
Yes.
Vasquez.
Yes.
Rivas.
Yes.
Rickner.
Yes.
Stone.
Yes.
Graham.
Yes.
7-0.
Okay, good. Next, we have the COPS Tech Grant Fund, additional $350,000 data processing equipment appropriation to cover the cost of approved COPS Tech grant equipment, laptop scanners, PC Meg infrastructure upgrade.
Motion approved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve this additional. Any discussion?
Okay, forgive me, it says appropriation need to cover the cost of approved COPS Tech grant equipment? Then they didn't supply any other money for this?
Well, that's what this money is. When we applied for the grant, this is what it was designed for. So, you know, we had gotten that approval. We finally got the money. It's in an account for specifically what was listed. So that's what we're here for, is to appropriate that money.
Into that account, okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Bozak.
Yes.
Vasquez.
Yes.
Rivas.
Yes.
Rickner.
Yes.
Stone.
Yes.
Graham.
Yes.
Sims.
Yes.
7-0.
Okay. And then we have an additional $105,000 reimbursements appropriation to cover the flock reimbursement from the COPS Tech grant.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion, a second. You know what, I'm out of touch. I don't, what is flock?
It's the stationary license plate readers that we have throughout the county.
Stationary?
Yeah.
Okay. See, that's,
All those black poles that are.
Uh-huh.
The count.
Yeah.
How do you know if they're the county ones or the cities?
We know.
Okay.
Yeah, we know.
My question is they're all networked in, so if Porter
Yeah.
gets a hit, do you get alerted?
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah, yep.
okay. Okay, we have a motion.
Well, I figured they knew.
This additional, any other questions? Roll call, please.
Vasquez,
Yes.
Rivas,
Yes.
Yes.
Stone.
Yes.
Graham,
Yes.
Sims,
Yes.
Bozak.
Yep.
7-0.
Okay, thank you. And now we have COPS Hiring Program Grant Fund, additional 26,770 to salaries, 2,048 for FICA, 9,776.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Approve. Unless you want to.
Motion and a second for this addition.
Approving every additional here for.
Can we do that?
Oh.
Just one at a time? Yeah, okay. So I was gonna, reason hiring of a new officer, 75% reimbursement through the COPS grant.
You're
How
gonna
many
need a new motion.
years does that cover?
3 years. Yep, 3 years.
So we have that.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I made a motion for all of them, so you're gonna have to get a new motion if that's the case.
So I make a motion for the 26,770.
Second.
I'm sorry, so we have to do each one of these?
It's
Indi-
I have to do it individually.
Okay, all right. So we're at salaries.
Before, I mean, for 8 years, we've never had to do that, but okay.
So what, roll call for the salaries.
We've been over this before.
Okay.
Rivas,
Yes.
Brickner,
Yes.
Stone,
Yes.
Graham,
Yes.
Sims.
Yes.
Bozak.
Yeah.
Vasquez.
Yes.
Okay, now we have the 2000.
I make a motion for the 2,048 for FICA, please.
Second.
I make a motion for all of them.
That would be a second.
I'm not done trying. Well, fix this.
All right, so now we're motion, second, now we're FICA. Roll call for FICA.
Oh, my goodness.
Brickner,
Yes.
Yes.
Graham,
Yes.
Sims.
Yes.
Bozak.
Sure.
Vasquez.
Yes.
Rivas.
Yes.
7-0.
Gotta do them all separate.
Okay, now we're at the medical life insurance.
Make a motion for the $9,776.
Second.
We have a motion, a second for medical life. Roll call, please.
Stone,
Yes.
Graham,
Yes.
Sims.
Yes.
Bozak.
Yes.
Vasquez.
Yes.
Rivas.
Yes.
Brickner,
Yes.
7-0.
And then lastly,
Make a motion for the 8,720.
Second.
motion, a second for perf. Roll call, please.
Graham,
Yes.
Sims.
Yes.
Bozak.
Yep.
Vasquez.
Yes.
Rivas.
Yes.
Brickner,
Yes?
Yes.
Okay. All right, thank you.
First time I've done.
Woohoo.
Motion for 144.
Second.
Second. Oh,
All right.
double second.
We have a motion, a second for Form 144. Any discussion on this?
You mentioned were you going after a second one too?
Well, yeah, so this was from last year's conversation, and
Yeah.
yeah, I'm absolutely going for another one to fill out for next year, a grant officer.
Wait a minute now.
Yeah.
This is for next year?
This is for last year that we approved.
It's for this year.
But it's, yeah, I'm sorry, yeah, it's this year's hire, but we
Approved it last year.
approved it last year to go for this grant,
We're talking about one person.
one person.
In all of this.
One person now, but I know in our conversations that
Yep.
we're going after multiple
Yeah.
of these grants.
And
Yeah.
we've already submitted it for next year, yeah.
It's a great move. Thanks.
Is that something you have to reapply for every year?
Every year.
5 year?
Yeah, every year.
For the 3 years, we're good for this officer,
Right.
but you can apply for an additional officer every.
Yes.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
What are the likelihood of that?
Good,
Good?
yeah, I think good.
Wait, what happens after 3 years? It falls on us?
Then, yeah, then,
Ours. I like that.
yeah,
The general fund.
yeah,
It gives us time.
Right.
General fund. Gives us time to make sure we got the.
budgeted, share was budgeted, general.
Okay. We have a motion, a second for Form 144. Roll call, please.
Bozak.
Yes.
Vasquez.
Yes.
Rivas.
Yes.
Brickner,
Yes.
Stone,
Yes.
Graham,
Yes.
Sims.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sheriff. Thank you. Coroner. Okay.
Hey, good evening, guys. Hi. Lady. Hey, Sydney.
Hello.
You ready?
Mike
Yeah.
confused. But anyways,
Pick one.
um,
Anyone.
so, as coroner, I think it's time to restructure our office. Instead of part-time salary to part-time hourly, because we have had 7 turnovers since I've been in office. We just had 3 in the past 2 months. It's not because they don't want to do their job, it's because the shifts that are required of them conflict with their primary jobs. And they are more than willing to work shifts during the month, but they can't commit to the 6 shifts. So this is more of a discussion, really, because I'm gonna bring this up at budget time. So I just would like to hear your thoughts.
What changed? Because I mean, it's been working for how many years? 15 years?
Forever.
I don't know. I'm just guessing.
Forever.
Well, it's been working, but now it's time to change.
But why? That's what I'm asking.
Because it's just, it's a part-time position.
Uh-huh.
And it's just conflicting with their other
So
jobs.
what we're seeing a lot of is obviously not a very lucrative position. We're not paying our bills off of this one, right? It's more of a service. So the way we have to run our schedule, being when we're salaried, obviously we can only have X number of people. So when we have office, it's hard for us to find people, right? It's not easy. It's not an easy job to find somebody to do it.
How do you advertise for it?
I post the job on the county website.
Did you go to job fairs at all, or places like that where other our departments go and kind of have a little table and just?
No, just on the county website.
It's a little harder, I would assume, and I don't mean to jump in, but correct me if I'm wrong, because it's part-time, it's gonna be a little harder to do that, Greg? Or is that not, am I wrong? I don't.
No, I have no idea. I'm just, if you're having a hard time finding people, you find another way to try and reach people. And if you can't, or if you do that and it comes up negative, then there's a situation. But if your outreach isn't as great as maybe it could be, that's all I'm saying.
I don't disagree with you, sir. Not at all. But I will say part of the problem necessarily isn't our outreach, because we will talk to applicants and we will have people that do apply. But when we tell them that you're required to work either a 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. or 6 p.m. to 6 a.m.
Be on call for 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Right?
Correct.
Yeah.
But I mean, that is what it is.
Right.
It's 12 hours in this day and world. That's
12-hour shift.
Yeah.
not unusual.
The problem is it's not unusual if it's your full-time job. So, like, for instance, for me, I have to be at my full-time job at 7 a.m. So I am on call right now. So I came on at 6. So from 6P to 6A. But if I get a motorcycle versus vehicle crash on the road at 4 in the morning, I'm not getting to my full-time job at 7 a.m. Now, I am lucky that I do have a job where they will work with me and understand my different duties. Not everybody has that ability. So when we start telling people this is kind of what we have to expect from them, a lot of their full-time jobs will not allow this. So the reason we want to go hourly, it's not really much of a change in what we're doing now as far as paying the people. It's just it doesn't limit us to only 10 people. You get paid for the hours you're on call. So if I have one person that can do the 6 days, for instance, 2 or 3 of the people that have left us now are capable of doing 2 or 3 on-call shifts a month for us, but we can't do that because we can't obviously divide up a salaried position. If it's hourly, we can have, I hate to use full-time, part-time, but full-time, part-time people that are going to be our 6 shifts a month people. And then when we have those leftover shifts, I can offer it to 2 or 3 people that, they can help us cover these shifts, and they still get compensated for it.
So basically, my twofold question. Number one is that you'll need more people, but they'll be working less time, but more availability by having more people.
Correct.
Okay, number 2, will that create a delay, don't want to sound ghoulish, in picking up a body though?
No, because it'll be the same exact thing. You're still going to be on call the same. Like the problem would be your primary job won't allow you to do 6 shifts, but you're certified, you've worked for us before, you can do 4 because you can work on your days off during that month. So now you'll be able to do those 4 shifts for us and you're willing to do that. Right now we
Then Bozak will pick up that time with, I'm not working there, and if he doesn't, then.
Correct. So what's happening now is we're 3 people short.
Okay.
So now we're asking our other 7 deputies to work 9 shifts this month for nothing. And we have no way of making up for that.
So there's no additional cost to the county. If you budgeted $100 a month, that's what you're paying.
No, there's an additional. is what-
So
Be additional.
what in what we're doing with this, and this has been a thing that the council and I believe even the auditor's office, this makes her office's job significantly easier, is with this, we'd like to get rid of that call pay stipend that has been the thorn, I think, in everybody's side. Where right now, when we get a call, we get a specific amount of money for either attending the call or a phone release. That is that untold number that we don't know what it's going to be because we don't know what those calls are throughout the year.
So how are you going to make up for that? Because now you're not getting an on-call money.
That's what I'm saying. So it would be a little bit more money to what we are budgeted for, but we are getting rid of that on-call. So like what our salary budget is falls in this bracket, and then we have our on-call.
Streamlining.
We're getting rid of this, making it one.
So it's
Combine them to one.
It's just
Correct.
gonna be hourly. We have 8,760 hours a year to cover. If we had 10 deputies or 20 deputies, those are the only hours that we can cover.
So your hourly's not going to go up.
So.
Correct. Like we would know, it would be a fixed amount. We would know it.
Yeah.
That's, I mean, I just want to make sure I'm understanding it. You're going to take what did you say, per diem account?
Correct.
You're going to combine it with the regular salaries, and that's what we're going to pay out under now. And when that happens, it's going to be the same thing that we had budgeted for. I mean, the same total amount.
It's gonna go up because what I did was, what we are right now is considered first responders. Governor Holcomb signed it's the House Enrolled Act number 1174. We are considered first responders now. The average first responder in the state of Indiana gets paid $16.65 a year, or not a year, I'm sorry, an hour. So what I did was I took that and turned it into $17 an hour for the deputies. To break it down, my chief deputy gets paid approximately $3 more an hour than the regular deputy, so he would get paid $20 per hour.
So it is gonna go up.
So it is.
How much?
It is gonna go up.
How much?
Probably about $40-some thousand.
You don't have that in your budget,
Now,
right? You don't have that in your budget because you
No.
come back to us every year for the autopsy money. So you don't have that money to pay that out, right? You're going to have to come to us.
right, that's why I wanted to come in front of you, kind of discuss this, because I am gonna bring it in front of,
Okay.
at budget time. But right now, we are having a problem, and yes, I am taking 5 shifts this month, so if anybody wants to add, I do take shifts.
It's gonna get to the point where, like, we're at a point where I don't know what we're gonna do, because
That's a sh-
we're losing people. We're asking people that are left to do more for nothing, which is gonna cause us to lose more people. I don't know what the answer is gonna.
But if you're losing people, then you'll have extra money in this line item we can't pay them more for.
Salaried, it's salaried.
Mention that.
But
So that's why we want to go hourly.
But the problem
For that exact
is-
reason.
is it's not necessarily that they're not willing to work, it's that this is
Our structured schedule.
They get paid.
The structure is part-time. They have full-time primary jobs that pay their bills. This job doesn't pay their bills. So it's just a matter of their shifts are, overlapping, and it's just getting harder and harder to cover the hours that need to be covered.
I'm wondering if you do need to reach out to try and get a big you say you're having a hard time finding people. And you just do it on the county site. Is that what you said?
I'm not, I actually, surprisingly enough, it's not that I'm having a hard time finding people. It's once I sit down with them, interview them, and they get all the details of what this job consists of and what they're getting paid. And
It's harder to find people that can
conflicts
do
with
it.
their primary job.
Well, so then maybe you're talking to the wrong people. I don't know.
I mean,
I don't
that's
know.
not really something we can
I-
change, though.
It's a little bit baffling to try to figure out why
Instead of 12,
it worked for
six,
so many.
I tried.
And now.
I tried,
all of a sudden,
and it
it is a
flopped.
real problem. For the coroner,
You know,
get people to work.
hey,
Things.
things,
I think you're at that meeting Thursday when I told you about this. Part of the problem is they've been using their staff that work 7 hours a day at our office. And then they have to work 12-hour shifts. This started back in 2013. And it's been going on since then. Right now, we pay that individual $27.52 an hour for the staff. We're asking for $17 an hour to cover this, so we don't have to worry about comp time for an individual at $27.52, as well as overtime. Now, if you take your numbers and calculate them out, she's asking for 10 people, and the total is 894 hours a year, 892.
760.
8,760
That's
hours.
That's
For
it.
the year.
That's all
That's
we
for
can
the year.
cover.
One individual is a chief deputy at $20 an hour. He sets the schedule and follows through with everything else. The other ones are just 9 at $17 an hour. My concern is this. When I found out about what was going on, I had to do some research, and right now I'm in discussion with the county attorney, okay, as to how we're gonna handle this, because this should not have been going on this long. I don't care how you feel about the situation right now and having to give someone extra money, but we just gave it to Parks. We gave $26,000 to Parks to cut grass.
We did as a council, yes, we made that decision, correct.
That's a council,
Correct,
what I'm
as a
saying.
council.
We're talking about an
Right.
Indiana code individual that's required by law to provide a service.
You're making it less attractive now.
Would going from hourly to stipend?
That's how I feel.
Sorry.
Instead of getting rid of the
You mean-
stipends and doing this plan that you're
You
submitting?
mean instead, well,
Because they get,
if we would go to hourly, we could actually hire as many deputies as we need,
right,
because we can only cover so many hours a year.
right.
So that's gonna be, what is in that yearly,
What was the question, sir?
That, we can't go over that.
Right.
There's only so many hours in the year that we have to cover.
Correct, okay.
I've got 3 trained deputies right now that they're, say they're, one of their deputies, their wife's schedule changed. They have younger children. They can't commit to 6 12-hour shifts, but they're more than willing, they're willing to volunteer, which I'm not willing to do that, because if they would get hurt, that could jeopardize their
I don't know if you heard Councilman Bozak asked if we tried to change the schedule up, right? Like, obviously, the 12-hour shifts is what's causing us grief. I tried changing it to 6, so we can do 6-hour brackets, right? To see if we can plug and play more. Obviously, you're gonna be on call twice as many days potentially, even though for less hours. It didn't work. Like, I've tried everything I can schedule-wise.
I'm just going to share with the group, coming from working closely with the coroner's offices before Cindy got there, even years ago, when I was with the police department, trying to find individuals to do this part-time job was a challenge. So, and that was several years ago. And I think that we've had this discussion with the auditor on this kind of, maybe the time has finally, sounds like it's come for some restructuring. It sounds like you're doing things the same way that have been done for so many years in the past, and it was tough back then, and, you know, times have changed, and, you know, trying to find people. Anyway, I mean, again, just, you know, kind of sharing with the group, I think we ask our department heads to really look internally to see what they can do better. In this case, you know, if it's gonna be a few, it's gonna cost us a little bit, you know, in the general fund, but I think there are some investments that are overdue, and it's time to kind of really look at this for a more efficient, you know, and statutorily, we are responsible for providing this service. So, again, I'm just kind of sharing that I think this is something that has been a long time coming. So I do have a question.
I don't know what we're gonna do if everybody quits. That's my, like, I don't know what we're gonna do.
So you're not asking, you're saying is this on the
Okay,
agenda for approval, or is this just a?
The 144 form that I filled out for the 28,000, I talked to Karen, this would be
If you would
say-
approve it
say
today.
if it would be approved today, this would finish out the rest of our year. Then I would get everything set up for the budget time for 2025.
Right.
We could switch to hourly
Looking to
today.
do something today.
This would be if we switched hourly today. We would take out the stipends, they would just get paid hourly.
Okay.
I just
Well-
have to say that this is not all about me. I'm gonna be done in 2.5 years. But what I am trying to do is get this department set up for the future, because this department has, they've got deputies that are committed. And I don't want to see this department fail. Will it dissolve? Never, because Porter County has to have a coroner's department.
Right.
It will never dissolve, but it could fail tremendously. And so that is what my intention is to bring it up to speed, bring it up to date. Just because something was done for however many years in the past doesn't mean that it's gonna be that, it's not gonna keep going that way. Something has to change somewhere to make it better for the deputies that are gonna stay on in the future. And I just need your support, I need the tools. If I don't get that, it's, you know, it just, we aren't a income, we don't
Revenue.
produce any income, unfortunately. Fortunately, on one hand, we do have some grants that we can use money for supplies, that kind of stuff, so I don't have to come in front of you for that. But otherwise, we don't produce income, we are just a service to the county. So,
Well-
like I said, this is kind of like a discussion, I just kind of get your feeling about it, but something has to change.
But obviously also a request. If you would approve that today, that 20,000 would get us through the year to switch to hourly. And we would
My concern,
budget for that.
as the auditor did point out, I was at the meeting on Thursday. It was pointed out to me that the sheriff's department did change from 8-hour shifts or 10-hour shifts to 12-hour shifts.
Right.
And what was it that you said it cost the budget, the general fund, 200,
No, it was 250. In order to
250,000?
per officer, they needed 4 officers to cut those shifts in half. The difference is here, there are 9 people just working the shift. They don't have to have multiple people on the shift.
I thought you had 13 people.
But you're only talking about a couple shifts a month for each of them. You're not talking 13 people. So here's the thing. If you have 5 officers on a shift, and initially they worked 35 hours, they worked 5 days. Now they're only working 3 days. You have to have individuals to cover those other 2 days. The total cost of that, but the sheriff decided to do that, did not discuss it with anyone. If he had, it was something that was brought before because he had done it in Valparaiso and he thought it was a good idea. He said it was gonna save money and overtime and other things. The problem is when you only have 180 shifts, and out of those 180 shifts, 10 of them are now taken away for your vacation, or an additional 10 for your holidays, an additional 10 for sick time. Now you're down to 150 days a week, a year that you're working, which means that leaves 150 out of 365 days, okay? So the problem is there, in order to calculate it, and I've got the documentation with me, but in order to calculate it, we needed 4 additional officers to cover the shifts that the 12 hours we're going to put into place. It's not the 12-hour shifts that's causing the problem, it's the vacation time, the sick time, and that. He did not just give them 8 hours for sick time, they now get 12 hours for sick time, 12 hours for holiday, 12 hours for vacation days. So what happened when they used to only get 40 hours for vacation, they now get 60 hours a week for vacation. That was the problem. They're not going to be getting any types of benefits from holidays or anything like that because they're just a part-time position.
Yeah, I will never fall into a full-time category. Brian is the one that does the scheduling, so he would make sure that nobody goes into a full-time status. It's all part-time. It's just you have to think about our counties growing, our deaths are increasing, and there just needs to be some changes eventually, and I decided it's time. So,
We need help.
It might sound like a dumb question, but
No such-
the fire department, the ambulances, they're able to bill people when stuff happens. How come you guys can't bill insurance for moving a body from a place to a place? I don't know.
I don't know. I would, without researching, obviously, just shooting from the hip. I think statutorily, I don't think we can.
And I'm not asking us
Because it's a require. We're
surprise fire and police could bill for stuff.
yeah.
If
It's
you're gonna move from state to state or from county to county, they charge you.
but we don't do that. That's not a thing we would do. So, and we're a statutorily required agency department.
Yeah.
I don't think we could bill for it.
But a fire department is too, you would think. Statutorily required at some coverage.
Yeah, like I said,
I'm just asking.
I-
I'm not
the
saying
answer. I don't know.
that right. I don't know.
I've never talked to another county
I was-
coroner that anybody bills for.
That it could be a dumb question.
If it were possible, I think somebody
It
would be doing it.
Nice, but
Right?
I don't know of anybody that does that. I haven't ran into anybody anyway that bills.
I don't think we can.
Thank you.
I mean, I appreciate what you're doing, trying to, just because something was done over and over, you're absolutely right, doesn't mean it's good, and obviously with the turnover, it's not good. So I applaud you coming in front of us and having this conversation now. To me, initially, thanks for bringing it up. It sounds like maybe something we really, really need to consider and possibly approve during the budget session so you can do your restructuring and give you the opportunity to see if this will work. So, I don't know what the council will do today, but, I know you kind of teed it up to see if we bite at it today or during budget session, but, I applaud your effort in trying to change things.
Thank you.
I have a question. Are you guys planning on coming back to us like previous years for more autopsy money this year? Or there's no additionals foreseen?
I'm gonna have to come in front of you.
Okay.
Because our autopsies have increased and, yeah. And also what they passed a law, that we, if we have an accident, motor vehicle accident in Porter County and that, victim gets airlifted to, say, St. Joe, we have to pay their autopsy fees and same
So essentially,
vice versa.
Yeah.
It's just, that's the way it is.
so that the coroner of that county would then contact us and say, hey, we need to do an autopsy. We do have the right to say, well, we don't think so. Generally speaking, that's not going to happen. But we could, and they could still say, well, we have to. Then we would still foot the bill for that autopsy.
Yeah.
And we're billing other people that have.
We would do that.
We would
Fits the
do
same
the
for us
same.
if we ship them out or they get shipped to us, right?
We have
Same
a
concept.
place to handle that.
Correct.
Cool.
Okay,
So that second, the Form 144, you're just raising up to $17 an hour for the deputy coroner and $20 an hour for
Chief.
the, the chief, correct?
And nixing the stipends.
And what,
So right now, if it's a phone call release, if we get a call, like we'll say from the hospital, it's a natural death, they give us the info, we do an informational report, we don't have to, we get $12.50 for taking that call in addition to being on call. If we have to attend the scene, we get $50 for attending that scene. That, like I said, is the unknown amount that we can only guess what that is every year because we don't know.
doing this kind of right, in my, I'm talking for myself.
Yes, sir.
Writes if you're out there for 4 or 5 hours, you're making $10 an hour.
Right, so, correct, so.
Getting that stipend, that's it.
Correct. Yeah, so like some of the, if we're just getting our on-call pay and you get that 4 a.m. call and you get off at 6 a.m., but you're there till 10 or 11 a.m., obviously your hourly wage becomes $10, $9, $8, $7 an hour. So this just makes it is what it is. It's hourly. If you're on call, if you're at a scene, whatever it is, you're getting paid for it. And it gets rid of the unknown of the stipend because we don't know how much that's going to be. We don't know how many calls we're going to get that are scene calls. We don't know how many that are going to be phone releases. So that's a variable.
Yep.
That's a variable cost. It gets rid of the variable cost and makes it a set cost.
Personally, I think it's something we're gonna have to do next year. I don't know if I'm ready to vote on it today personally, but I think you guys have a pretty well thought out plan here. I mean, and we gotta make some changes, but it's my opinion.
And to that, obviously not looking to argue, but like literally we're going to be 3 people short this month.
I'm not saying it's a no for me.
I get it. I'm just telling you, like we will be 3 people short this month. So our 7 deputies this month will be expected to do 9 shifts, in the month of 4th of July and everybody's vacations. And it's going to be catastrophic. I don't exactly know how it will.
That's assuming people they're going out because of dead bodies, right?
No, like we won't. I don't know how we're going to cover on-call shifts. You know what I mean? Because if I have a deputy, and we're lucky enough to have some sheriff's department officers that are also deputies for us part-time. But when they have a training schedule. So I literally keep track of how many shifts each deputy works at the bottom of our schedule. So like if this officer only got 5 this month, I'll try to get him an extra, and next month, and the person that had to work extra, I'll take one from. But it's just a mess.
And Peter to pay Paul.
It's a mess. And so now we've had those 3 leave. We've hired 2 to replace them, but obviously they are not trained in any aspect. So we can't just put somebody out there to do something. Like we got to spend time with them, and which is going to require our deputies to do more for.
And what's hard too is, we're not a full-time office, so we don't have, the deputies, we're not in the office for our 12-hour shifts. And we can put these trainees with deputies.
We can only train them when they're on call,
They might
when they're
not get
available.
they might not get a call. So we can't put them out until they're comfortable. So however long it takes to do that with them, then we work with them and.
May I ask a question?
Yes, ma'am.
How many of your employees work in the sheriff's department or?
I think 1, and then we have 1 now that most recently is, I think, part-time for the 911 center.
Staff is mostly just general public or in the health departments or what?
Yeah, so it's a mix. We've had a mix of different police officers, different police departments. I previously worked for the sheriff's department. I work security at a hospital now. I run hospital security. It's a collective between some paramedics that we've had in the past. Some are in the funeral home business.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think it's, like I said, I struggled today with, other departments coming up in June and asking for money and additionals and waiting until their budget. It sounds like you're having some problems here, and this will get an antiquated system to hourly system, which will be a lot easier for you to be able to adjust your schedule with.
We can bring on more people, like little bits.
Little
I can
bits.
pass chunks out instead of expecting.
And then actually raising the pay up to commensurate the first responder. Correct. I'm gonna make a motion that we do approve this right now. I think it is important. I think it is I think it's valuable, and I think those people should get raised up and pay. And I think if it helps you, find more people, easier shifts to do this job.
I would rather see it come
I
back.
think it's
Budget.
I can probably bring back 3 people right now that would.
Almost definitely.
So that's a motion.
Definitely.
That is a motion.
Thank you.
You could bring back 3 people right now if we change this?
3 people that can't commit to 6 shifts a month, but will do 1, 2, 3 shifts a month for us. So like it would cover, it would cover 8, 9 shifts right off the bat if we were able to do this for the July schedule.
I'm concerned with the money that we're gonna have to pay out for the autopsy. How much are you thinking that's gonna be? Because changes my vote a little bit on this. How much you guys thinking you're gonna share? 50?
At budget time, I'm probably gonna have to increase that by 20,000.
Okay, I'll second Red's motion.
I do have a question on the autopsy.
Yes, sir.
Is there, do you use like your own specific doctor that does autopsy? Or is there,
He is contracted.
are there other people's looking at doing it?
Well, because we don't have a county morgue,
Yes.
I can't personally bring in another pathologist into the hospital. We use the hospital morgue for our autopsy. So that's the problem that I've had since I started.
Also, to give you a little light, the pathologist we used, who is local to us, also practices for Jasper County, also practices for Lake County. So he's doing them, yeah. He also is a forensic pathologist, so he can do,
Tough case you can.
it's not even tough if it involves any legal matter, murders, anything that would involve a crime. There are 4 of those in the state of Indiana. So like we are also have the luxury that he is in our area and licensed to operate out of the hospital which our morgue is located. You would have additional costs. It's not like it is impossible to venture out, but also who's driving that person there, you're gonna have.
That's your business.
Correct. So like then it becomes that snowballs.
Yeah, I don't know.
Correct. Like I get it. That number stings. There's no doubt about it. I get that. That is the worst part of all of it, probably.
Okay.
Motion and a second.
So we have a motion, I just need some help here. We have a motion and a second. Are we on the additional?
Yep, 28.
Okay, so we have a motion and we're to approve tonight, right? We have a motion and a second to approve this additional. So roll call, please.
With pay raises.
We're not on that one yet, I don't think.
The 28,000 hours.
The 28,000, that literally, that is what is included.
But we're only voting right now on putting the money in the bucket.
Yeah.
Correct.
We're not making it, there's no motion on the second, Form 1 and
We're
40.
voting on the additional, not the.
That's what I'm saying, it'll come next.
It'll come next. You
But
have
we're
to
just
vote
moving the
on-
money first.
Right.
Then we can discuss.
We don't do them all.
Yeah.
No.
We have a motion and a second on the additional 28,000 hourly to restructure. Roll call, any other discussion?
And this gets rid of the stipends and.
It will.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I would really
Straight
think this is something we
and
talk
we only have
budget
so
time.
many hours a year, and that's, at the end of it, that's it. We don't go over that.
But we've had pay raises with this, so that means that you will get more.
Because.
Your budget will increase.
At budget time, yes. This is pretty much like half of it because it's June right now. Can't, what was it, 46? 48,000. Yeah. That I would ask for an increase at budget time for 2025 for it all to come together.
Okay.
See, the problem I'm having is we're all liaisons to different departments. And I'm liaison to some departments, and I appreciate what you do. You have a very difficult, and it's very challenging. I've been in that health professional field, and it's very challenging. But there are some departments that will never, they are always at the bottom of the pool for whatever reason, and they're never, well, Andy, you know what I'm talking about.
With that meeting we had the other day.
Right, and I'm just, we all know we're in a crunch. We all agree with that, we're in a crunch.
100%. We are in a crunch. There's no doubt about that.
And, I just want to remind everybody of that. Go ahead.
Oh, I understand. I just wanted to bring this problem to your attention.
We have a motion.
Hey, so a guy would make how much in 12 hours now? How much would he get paid? 12 hours.
Oh Lord.
Around it. I mean, like, so how much are you increasing this guy?
Well, so that's the problem is because we're taking away that variable. So like I've had shifts where I've had 6 calls. You're paying me 6 $50 calls on top of whatever I made that day. We're taking that away.
Okay.
So since we're taking that away, that's where there has to be some kind. We have to give something, right? We can't say now you're just going to get the $10 an hour and no more call pay, but you're hourly. So work more, make more. Like we're trying to make it a little more comparable to what the national average is for the first responder, as well as compensate for the fact that we're taking away that stipend.
The maximum for 12 hours is $204.
Thank you.
And that's what it was now, right? And then what would it be now?
No, he said he had $650, because he gets stipends now.
Oh.
And he, at one point in time, said he had $6 $50 calls, which would have been $300. Right now, $17 times 12 hours is $204.
I see.
It'd be $100 savings there.
Thank you.
So you're saying we're gonna be saving money,
We're not gonna be doing the stipends anymore. That's being taken away.
so then it's not gonna cost us anymore. So at budget time, we won't.
You can't say that. It's on a call-to-call basis. Everything changes.
Well,
We're taking away the variable cost.
12-hour shift. That will not change. The maximum that person will make is $204 in that 12-hour shift. You will not be getting a $50 stipend on top of it. There were individuals that were getting stipend, more than one stipend within their 12-hour shift. That's the difference. That will be stopped.
Frequently, yeah.
This is going to be more efficient. Bottom line, it's going to be more efficient, and it's
Yeah,
going to,
because,
yes.
You know, this stipend that I put in place originally was to give these deputies an incentive to stay.
Correct.
Because their job, what they have to do, what they have to see, who they have to talk to,
Right.
and what they were making didn't even compare. So, but it just kind of, it got to the point where it's like confusing with.
What we're doing now is it's not working very well.
It is not, sir.
It's not
Yeah,
working
okay.
very well. So
We have a motion, and we have a second.
And you saying that you need it right, it's something you.
I'm telling you, if you're willing, if all of you are willing to help us this month, it is going to make a drastic difference in this schedule. If we have to try to do this for the next 3, 4, 5 months this way, I don't know what that's going to look like. We're going to have a different conversation, I'm afraid, because I don't know how we're going to handle calls if we have less people than what we have right now.
Okay. We have a motion, a second, on the additional roll call, please.
Graham,
I'll say yes, if it's gonna save us money, that's fine.
Sims,
No.
Bozak,
Yes.
Vasquez,
Yes.
Rivas,
Yes.
Brickner,
Yes.
Stone.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. So now we're going to move to the, I'm sorry.
Oh,
Motion to approve Form 144.
I second Andy.
We have a motion, a second, to approve Form 144 in relation to all this. Any further discussion?
Huh? I know. At least save the part.
No, seeing none?
That's all.
So we're adding a person?
Well,
They can add.
this way, we would be able to hire 10 more deputies.
at no additional cost than what is approved.
But you need another person in order to do this.
No.
No.
Well, what's the 144 for?
The 144 is because right now the 144 has the stipends on it, $50 or $25. So we're changing and taking the stipends out and
Stipend.
giving them hourly
Yep.
rate.
So this just replaces the stipend.
And this coincides
Okay,
with the.
okay.
Lock it into a structure.
Okay,
So at the
She
end
got
of
it.
the day,
well, this is where the kicker
it's
is.
just a flat, that's
It is what it
we
is.
have.
Correct.
Okay,
And the deputies get paid
It's just,
what
it's.
they earn.
a little confusing, but it's, I think it would be,
Not this fight again.
okay.
Okay,
We have a motion and a second for the Form 144. Roll call, please.
Sims,
Nope.
Bozak,
Yes.
Vasquez.
Yes.
Rivas,
Yes.
Brickner.
Yes,
Stone.
Yes.
Graham.
yes.
6-1.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very much.
When you come back to us, let us know some good news. Not always negative.
Yeah, somebody.
Just try.
Somebody.
Just throw some good out there every once in a while.
There was a body with gold inside and we get.
You're our favorite.
No bodies.
IT,
Yeah.
What do you do with that light, Bozak?
That light does that every spot.
okay, we have
Andy,
IT General Fund,
Yeah.
$10,000 from overtime hourly, transfer need to pay for hourly document scanner and the intern from Ivy Tech. Is this the intern that we talked about last meeting?
Yes.
Okay.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you very much.
Lee, got a question.
Yes, sir.
So going forward, you sent out some memos last year, you sent out some memos this year. I know you're probably not gonna have this on the top of your head. Going forward for 2025 and 2026, what's your anticipation for IT? And I was told that when we had the discussion at the Thursday meeting, that a lot of our infrastructure is getting older.
It is.
How old is it? What, are there patches? I'm not a computer person.
Sure.
Are there
The biggest risk we have right now is one, a lot of computer equipment has software built into it. And when it gets to a certain age, that software doesn't get upgraded anymore. So that becomes a vulnerability. So that's a big concern because nobody wants to pay ransomware. And the other concern is it's hard to find certain pieces of equipment. There's like a 6-week, 7-week delay if I order something to get it. So if a critical switch were to go down that handles our network to all the buildings, and it all has to be programmed and ordered, county could literally be out of business for 6 weeks. We no longer have paper books to refer to handle a customer that. We all look at a TV screen, and that information may not be there one day. It's why it's important to keep up to date.
What's your thought on the cloud, how it is right now? I mean, are we pretty decent? We have a,
Our worst was the sheriff's department. That's slowly coming around. We have some new equipment, we have old. It's just, I'm looking more, I'm not saying we have anything that I know is going to fail tomorrow.
Right.
I'm just saying I would rather have a 5-year plan in place so we never have to experience that issue.
and you did put forth a 5-year plan.
Yes.
Right, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Lee.
Next time, get your request in earlier so you'll be higher on the agenda.
Very good. Okay, now we are at the highlight of the meeting, the second reading.
The following additionals have been passed tonight. General fund hourly 28,000, tires, tubes, and lubrication 20,000. Parks operating fund salaries $13,062.50. FICA $3,413. PERF $1,463. Sheriff DEA proceeds payments $11,668. Top Tech grant data processing equipment for $350,000. Reimbursements for $105,000. Cops hiring grant salary $26,770. FICA $2,000.48.
This guy?
PERF $8,727. Medical life insurance, $9,776. Chester Library Improvement Reserve, $152,000, $152,066. Second reading.
Thank you.
I have a question. Can you tell us how much added to the general fund tonight? How much?
We added $48,000 to the general fund.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adopt the second reading. A roll call, please.
Brickner,
Yes?
Stone,
Yes.
Graham,
Yes.
Sims,
Yes.
Bozak,
Yes.
Vasquez,
Yes.
Rivas,
Yes.
second.
Okay. Now we are at the Tourism Board appointment. I think that, do we have the appropriate information to make a appointment tonight? Does the council have a preference or any comments?
I don't know, did anybody have a discussion with commissioners about expanding possibly? Or if we want to have our own to not take away and strip the citizen appointment?
Yeah, they said they were looking at doing it at the end of the year, I believe. Of course, you know, they're the commissioners, I can't hold them to it, but,
They said they would do what?
they would like to possibly do something where the council has one citizen and somebody on the council be on the tourism board.
So as it stands right now, what is the situation? We have the 4 people.
I believe there's 5.
We have
Six.
1,
5, 6?
3, 4,
No, Mitch.
5.
Mitch is not coming.
We have 5 candidates to replace the outgoing appointee. And I think you have a list
Yeah.
at the bottom on that page there. I don't know if it's the council's pleasure to go ahead and move forward.
I'd make a motion to appoint Andy Vasquez. I like the idea of having our finger directly on the pulse as the council. I do like a citizen appointment, but I think for this one, after all the problems we have there, it makes sense for us to get involved. So I would make a motion that we appoint Andy Vasquez.
I second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for Andy Vasquez for the Tourism Board appointment.
Just want to apologize to the citizens for not being able to sit on this any longer.
Andy's a
Yeah, and
Green card.
He's an elected official,
Or a citizen.
which is great, I agree. We have, there have been times that we were not kept in communication, and that will give us an advantage. But I do feel badly that we're losing our citizen appointment.
But we're only appointing him to the rest of Mitch's term, correct? Which is another 2 years, I believe, or the rest of this year plus 2, is that correct?
Right.
No.
Hoping that the commissioners will,
And hoping that.
And hoping
But if there is no change to me, I mean, we can make a change, go back to citizens in a couple of years if the council so chooses to do so. Or if Andy sucks, we can remove him before that.
Or come 2026, I may just be a citizen.
You might just be a citizen, Andy.
better make sure you give us a report every month. See what happened to the last guy.
I will bring it to you personally if you want me to drop it off at your house.
No, I'd rather you not.
Okay, do we have any other nominations from the individuals on the list? No. We have a motion and a second. So, Karen, do we need a roll call just to approve Andy Vasquez?
Rivas,
I'm abstaining from it.
Brickner,
Yes.
Stone,
Yes.
Graham,
I'll abstain.
Sims,
No.
Bozak,
Yes.
Vasquez,
Yes.
4 yes, 2 abstaining, and 1 no.
I don't want to vote no against you, Andy. I think you'll do a good job. It's just the
No.
way this has all came down, and I don't.
No, I understand your reason.
agree, Jeremy.
Even for anybody voting no, I take that as no personal
Yeah.
affront. I just feel you have to vote your conscience, and I thank you for being honest with your vote. So, you know, I will do my best to make sure that I'm reporting to everyone, like we did with the NERC thing. I wanted to make sure everybody had knowledge, and we went forward with that as a group, a bipartisan group, and I continue to like to work in that vein on the tourism board. So thank you all for your vote.
I voted
Either
no.
way.
It
Congratulations.
was not bipartisan. I was not for
Oh,
that.
shut up.
Okay. I think that concludes that portion of the meeting, and now I'm going to,
Well, I think any other matter, I mean, I think that before we go into public comment, I mean, discuss maybe what's been going on. I don't know, I guess I wasn't aware of the sheriff going to 12 hours, like the auditor has mentioned, and the significant cost that's gonna, you know, be before us. I don't know how soon.
The sheriff put it in place December of last year. The auditor's office didn't even know it. It wasn't until March when there were additional hours that were entered for each of these people. And we had to make adjustments, and then it had to be taken to the commissioners because an adjustment had to be made, and changes needed to be made to the personnel handbook. It cost approximately $250,000 to put an officer on the road. For additional officers, it was $1 million for them.
$1 million.
So are you kind of saying right now that this move's gonna cost $1 million?
It's already in place.
And it never did come before.
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn budget session. We won't need one.
We're not gonna be able to afford anything, jeez.
It's over.
We're actually not going to see, what we're going to see is a shortage of staff because the 4 people that he would have put on the road regularly now will be covering the shifts for the 12-hour changes. So he has stated that he's coming before us for additional personnel.
and this is in relation to the implementation of the 12 hours additional?
Right.
Yeah.
Is why, or the FBI, because I know there was some kind of a study that the sheriff engaged in
Well,
where
the
they needed
sheriff
addition,
across the board, you know, they all state
additional people, yeah.
but this would be because he's going to need the staff. Initially, when they told us there was going to be no cost, I couldn't believe that we could change and add substantial hours to, because it's, like I said, it's not just 12 hours for vacation time. And so they were asking for, instead of a 40-hour week, even though they're only working 40 hours, they were wanting 60 hours of vacation. So a person with just the new 2 weeks would get 120 hours of vacation.
Does the cost come from the additional 4 hires or from the additional vacation and?
Well, it's coming from both, because you used to
Right.
have, you used to only be getting 40 hours of vacation. Now they're getting 60 hours per week, which is an additional 20. You've got to figure people that have up to 25 years, what they're getting. I mean, I do have one form, and I calculated it. I can pass it down to my original, so I'll need it back, but I want you guys, it's not, I mean, I was shocked too. In fact, I went to four different meetings and tried to explain to them what it was going to cost us.
And Karen, what was their reply to that when you explained to them?
They had already put it into place.
You already gave it to them, how do you take it away? That's pretty much it, right?
This is the worksheet, and this is what they were.
You mean the sheriff?
And this is what was.
I'm not throwing him under the bus.
No, I'm not
I
either.
have copies of all these.
Yeah.
And this is my.
I don't want a target on my back.
Why it costs.
It was this-
Jeremy, I'm gonna make a copy of all this for you on the front of it, just to show you. It's the report that I've got here is from the sheriff's department. It was actually from Kathy. It shows the additional hours here. And then on the back, it shows my worksheet, how I calculated why it would be additional.
Put your glasses on, what are you doing?
He's reading it Braille, leave him alone.
Braille.
Yeah, you're gonna get it.
So just,
I don't
you-
need to
okay,
see
so
that.
These are for
you'll all
distance.
get a copy.
Oh,
I'll wait for the copy.
I didn't know, actually, I thought you did win them.
No.
Thank you, Karen.
Well, that's, yeah, I appreciate that. I don't know if, I know you guys are having some Thursday meetings that, yeah, at 3 o'clock, I'm just not gonna be able to attend, but I've tried to read everything that's come out of it. I mean, is there any discussions that we should talk about at this regular meeting? Any developments or any movements, or, I mean, what you guys are?
I had a,
Yeah, we're broke.
I threw together a plan, Jeremy, to give us some breathing room for a couple years. I don't know if you got it. You should have got it from Dave. It's not the best, but I think it gives us some breathing room.
Is that your proposal to use foundation money?
Yes, yes it is.
The interest from the foundation money, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
The interest.
Right.
The interest, correct.
Oh, I thought you said principal.
No.
Well,
It's the principal.
I'm sorry, I thought I
Let-
had,
so let me-
the
let me-
white sheet that I got
so let me explain
said principal.
per state statute. Anything over 5% in our policy is considered principal in state statute. It's kind of hard to, I mean, I could do a presentation on this for you. No, but it's hard to explain, so it is hard to understand. I did a lot of research on it. They consider principal, anything over the 5% in our policy, they consider that principal, or I mean, principal, you know. So, it would actually be taking principal from, God, what was it? It was, I think we have $185 million.
185.
And drop it to no less than 160 or 165. And then that would be spread across 5 years for, and again, I told you, this is, for me, I look at, this is a problem for all of us. You know, we could do the ambulance contract, that's gonna double to 1.2, 1.25 million a year. Use it for roads and use it for IT. Because we're trying to fund a long-term IT plan, and I think that's pretty critical for the county not to shut down its IT services. I don't think this is the greatest plan, but I mean, in these economic times,
I think
It's a-
what we've been talking about, and, you know, to kind of segue off, you know, what Retta's saying at these meetings is to look at some creative ways, alternative ways to utilize some of that funding. The goal is to not have any tax, implement any tax this year. People, I know Sue's in the room, but people have been getting their assessments, property assessments, and it's very challenging for some individuals on fixed incomes with some of these, and we don't, and then with this money, to ask the taxpayers to foot the bill for some of our challenges when we have this money, maybe it's just a way to look at it in a different light. Is there a different way that we could utilize some of that funding? I didn't mean to.
No,
just
Mike,
kinda-
no, I
just kind of going off of.
You paid attention, see, I like that.
Some of the discussions that we've had with the auditor, I mean, we are gonna have some challenges financially, that we're going to be facing, the ambulance contract, one of them. Health insurance is always a challenge, but, that's something, but also, IT challenges, and just services that we are, required to provide. And, we don't want to, implement a tax on the taxpayer. Especially when we have this money, it's just kind of, we're kind of looking at, we've been spending it a certain way over the years since it was created. Is it time to just kind of look at it in a different, from a different perspective? Is there a better way to utilize that funding? But I think those are some options that we're exploring.
If we were to go with numbers, let's just say for the sake of discussion, we took 25 out of at that 180, put us back to 160 at 3.5%. In 5 years, you're back to 180, about 182.
Well, no, the 3.25% has to be used for the foundation account, which nets us 5.6 million a year, because that's a smoothing.
So basically, in 5 years, you put you back to where you were, and should there be, I mean, it's not perfect.
It's
but I
not
mean, you should
perfect,
have a need, you could do it again without raising taxes, hopefully, because let's face it, nobody here wants to raise taxes. Sylvia and I are in the unique position where we get that big government check every month, where we live like kings and queens for about 10 days a month. And so, we don't need to increase.
The thing that's interesting is, you could, if we were to agree to this, and I just used it for roads. I think I added 1.5 million so we could match the CCMG grant. I did the ambulance service, which is 1.25 million, and then Lee for IT. But we could split, you know, instead of Lee for IT, if there's something more pressing, you know, we could use that as well. Use that as a 5-year plan, and then keep the money in the investments. Go ahead, Sylvia. I'm sorry.
Well, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but you're saying 1.2 for the ambulance. I have not received any communication. Has that been?
The only thing I'm basing this on right now is just what I heard when I went to a meeting a while ago, that the ambulance service was going to be going up substantially. Could it go from 675 to $1 million, 675 to 1.2 million? I don't know. If I'm in the meeting, I promise you, you know, we
Well,
hopefully.
I had not had any communication with, truthfully, any of that. I know that I did meet with the Jim Polaric and the other gentleman, and it was discussed what they would like, and we have always been very, I think, as helpful as we could be with paving, giving them money as that we can afford. And that's why I was a little bit surprised to see that they were asking for a point set of $4 million for paving. Also, in the meeting that I had, Jim, they were asking for an additional road crew, which kind of surprised me. But again, that'll all come up at budget probably.
Yeah.
But just to communicate with you, that's what I was told.
So I think it was, this would have been like, we would have matched the CCMG grant at 1.5 million, throw an additional 1.5.
Yeah, that
would be
that
3
is
million
what I
for
thought
this.
we would do.
What I was talking about Thursday, no, the plan I was talking about Thursday, and then the 1 million, I'm doing this all at the top of my head, 1,250,000 for ambulance, and then I think $500,000 a year for the, I mean, that can be maybe 300,000, and we can take 200,000 for, you know, something else that's pressing, give us some breathing room, kind of give us some,
Take some of the, take some relief off the general fund.
Well, you gentlemen are in charge, so, you know.
Well, this is a
you
team
come up
effort.
with-
You gotta have a 10-0 vote, yeah.
well,
Not about any
so,
charge.
The team effort.
yeah, it's not about being in charge, it is what it is.
Well, it's the plan you've come up with.
Well, I have another plan too.
Oh, good.
I have another plan with the foundation.
What's the other plan?
The other plan would be to change the 3.25% that we're currently getting from the foundation and going to the maximum 5% by statute, which would gain us an extra $3 million a year instead of $5 million with my first plan. Because right now we get $5.6 million based on $173 million that we smooth off of. That's
About 8 mil?
So we would get 8.6 million. So we would be able to cover ambulance, we'd be able to cover the CCMG grant, and we'd be able to cover some of Lee. So we could take off some of paving, and that would be a majority vote for the foundation.
And it would be, you know, to have discussion with all the council on prioritizing what that money would be used for. These are just.
And the second plan, FYI, would not take principal. It would still be at 185 million. It would not take any principal, but what it would do is raise our 3.25% to 5%. And then hopefully, God willing, if we get good years, we'll keep adding to that $185 million. But does it shortchange some things? It could, but I understand getting a 10-0 vote is hard. And, you know, so.
Yeah, I don't know how taking 25 million out doesn't affect the overall smoothing down the road.
Bonding.
It's going to, you know, we don't know what the market's gonna be. I mean,
No, you're right.
so then what we've been getting will eventually, could possibly be going down, so. I mean, and if you wanna talk about ambulance service, I think it's time, we've been talking about this and nobody wants to do anything with it, but I think it's time to get out of the business. I mean, we don't fully get out of the business and have the government entities work together, get together and figure out what their communities, you know, want to pay for and, you know, and tax themselves for the services they want. We can't, right now, Portage Township, Valpo Center Township, they've taxed themselves. So, and then the other ones have, you know, kind of left us to figure out how to fund it. You know, I think everybody should do that. Because I don't think it would be fair at all to go into, like, the principal, the foundation, and take that money out to pay for half the county for ambulance service. Well, what about the other half that's already taxed themselves for it? Then maybe we should reimburse them, per capita, and give them a check to reimburse them, because they've taxed themselves for it.
We can say that with the sheriffs though, because in our foundation, we cover sheriffs' needs, we cover E911. We give 500,000 to Opportunity Enterprises, I believe, out of that foundation. So there's lots of things that people can say, hey, what about me? Valpo covers this, Chesterton doesn't cover that, Chesterton doesn't cover E911. So, I mean, there's lots of things in this county that, it's not gonna be fair, and like I said, I'm willing to have any discussion with anybody on this council to try and get to a workable solution. I agree with you, Jeremy. I think there could be a possibility in the future that, we do have fire territories with their own rigs. Liberty and Jackson, combine them.
But if we just keep
50,000 people.
nobody getting into the discussion deep, and we just, let's just find another way to fund it down the road, and then, people are dumping it on us without any conversation.
I will say though, I did talk to somebody, because at our last meeting, we talked about the territories. I talked to somebody from LaPorte, and we might want to look and see what they do. It's very, very, very costly when you start taking the 5 ambulances, all the employees, the insurance, the liability. He said it was very, very, very expensive.
Doesn't LaPorte run their own, the county? Does the county operate it?
I believe
entirely?
I believe so.
Yeah.
So, and then if we have some territories like, say, Jackson and Liberty, say they do it, but then some other territory doesn't do it, who's gonna cover that? This could take, I agree with you, start looking into it, there's no question about that. I just don't know how long it's gonna take to implement something like that countywide to have enough territories, because I think right now we have, 5 ambulances that Northwest provides, and
I guess maybe sometimes.
on a brighter note, I talked to a lady yesterday whose mom did fall, and I did ask her. She broke her hip and broke her shoulder. Older lady, and I did ask her. I said, I have a question. How was the ambulance service? She said they were great, absolutely fabulous. They came in 3 minutes. They were good. So I was happy to hear that. So as a attaboy to the people that helped that lady out. So I would have been concerned if she would have said, hey, 15 minutes, but she said they were absolutely spot on. They were great. They figured a different way to carry her mom out of the house instead of a gurney because she was in so much pain. So I was kind of happy to hear that sounds like we've got some pretty decent ambulances.
Yeah, I'm sure they're all professionals, and that's why they spoke up too, right? That there's something wrin But again, I just don't think that's the future. I think we have to modernize the way we're providing emergency services in this county. We've got to, my opinion, fire territories. I think each community needs to figure out, what they want to pay for and tax themselves appropriately. We don't have a funding source for it, and we're only providing it for half the county. And, what about the other half of the county that's taxed themselves? That's, Karen knows, this conversation, she said it, last meeting, was it Nomad, or what was the ambulance? No pack, I was close,
Northern.
Yes, there's a serious history to this, and in my opinion anyways, I think we gotta get out of the ambulance business, and the sooner the better, because we don't have a funding source for it, and I think that the residents should decide how they wanna, tax themselves appropriately and do it. So, the bigger communities already have, and some have partnered with the townships.
I'm trying to remember how long it took Valpo and Center Township to do that territory. It was several years.
I remember speaking with Chief Nondorf, and I thought it was pretty smooth.
It
I don't
was.
remember it being,
You have to have, he worked with, Chuck Conover was the trustee then.
Right.
And they worked well
And,
together, and so there was that cooperation. It took some time, yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna take some leadership, and I think it's, to me, it needs to start with the commissioners, because they're the ones that sign the contracts. We don't have to fund it, I suppose, but we've got to get out and start talking to these communities, commissioners
well, here's the
too.
thing though, Jeremy, we've got the contract coming up now. And,
Next year.
Next
We
year.
got a year.
Okay, we got
Year and a
1
half.
year.
Right, but we don't
That's
want to
cutting
ignore it.
short.
But it's not, we haven't, I give Andy Bozick down their credit. We tried to start this conversation a couple years ago.
Yeah?
Yeah, I mean, we tried. I mean,
There's a lot of kickback from different fire departments.
Jeremy,
It's a tough conversation,
I
but it
talked,
needs to
I
happen.
talked to the 6 townships in my district about this. And you'd have thought I'd call their mother a dirty name when I mentioned that.
Pretty much.
And so, you know, they're gonna have to be given the choice of, okay, you wanna keep the status quo? This is what it's gonna cost you for keeping the status quo. And this is what it'll be to cost you for a fire territory. Until they see hard figures like that, unless we can come up with something to show them, this is what it's gonna cost you. I think the old school of this is how we've always done it is gonna fight you tooth and nail. And that's the honest
You
God's
know,
truth.
that is the truth.
That's the truth.
Chief Nandorf did do all that legwork. They did have all that laid out so that you were able to see what it was going to cost the individual taxpayer in Center Township.
What happened with,
Jeremy,
what happened with what happened there? How come it stopped?
we weren't getting support of the commissioners.
I'm sorry?
We weren't getting support of the commissioners to jump.
We had met with downstate, the fire guy, I mean, we had gone through quite a few meetings. There was pushback there, and the fire departments themselves were pushing back. And if we don't have the council's full support, people aren't talking about it publicly, it's not gonna happen. We need to get the message out there, and we need to work with these people to figure out the best way to do it. But we also need to tell them that there's gonna be some costs involved in setting up these new boards and these township, whatever you guys end up doing. And if that's the case, I think us as a county need to come out and say, hey, we'll help you fund that. We will pay to set it up. We'll figure out a way to get it set up so you can be a taxing unit and off our
You're getting money from where?
we'll find it. It'll save us money in the long run. If
Now you might get me looking at principal a little bit for one-time shots to get rid of it permanently.
A long-term one.
Yeah, because there's money to set it up. You've got lawyers involved. You've got all this stuff. So if they need help with that, and it'll get us off our, man, I want to say something bad here. I can't.
Well, let me just ask, I mean, you and Bozak had this discussion before. You willing to go at it again and different time now and work on, since the two of you have
I got a busy year this year. I got a lot going on.
But it's not gonna go anywhere without the commissioners on board 100%. If they're just gonna go out and negotiate contract after contract, we're spinning our wheels. They have to put a timeline and say, we're never signing another contract after this date. They have to be on board to say, we're done in the ambulance business.
Well, beside myself, who's the other liaison to the commissioners?
I believe I am, but yeah, I've tried. They don't want to talk to me.
Well, I'd be more than happy to go with you.
Well, one of them doesn't.
Well, I'll be happy to go with you.
But Mr. Brickner or President Brickner, I would be interested in being part of that. Again, it's just this year I got a lot going on personally, baseball, softball. I'm missing a game tonight, and I'm the coach. Sucks.
Okay. Well, just if you wanted to pick up that conversation, I don't know how long ago that was, but
I think the conversation has to be had. I'm just, I don't think it's fair to the communities that have already taxed themselves, so.
And we're covering for some parts of different communities at, was it Dune Acres or over there, that area? Ogden Dunes, I believe. We're paying Portage to cover that area.
okay,
I mean, I'd be more than happy to reengage,
sounds good.
but,
Happy to go with you.
I'll reach out to the commissioners and see.
Commissioners have to be on board. Message has to be clear, and it has to be uniform from our board and their board. This is what we're doing, guys, and you can't do it tomorrow. Obviously, you got to give these townships and cities a little time to get ready for it. Maybe a year or two, I assume.
I mean,
That'd be
But
great.
it is a discussion that needs to be had.
Yes.
Flat out.
go as far as, if the commissioners were to get on board, if we funded a study or something that, would look at options and how it would all work out, and what it would cost each, what would make sense for the, Red, I think we talked about it a little bit. You mentioned, follow the school districts or something. What would make sense of how these lines would look, who would be in each territory, and then what it would cost, to the taxpayer,
Right.
to fund that so that they would have full-time professionals,
Incorporate, just like East Porter Schools did.
You can do a territory.
Well, you do territories, you can draw the maps, I'm sure, as long as they're contiguous.
Oh, we have Liberty Jackson, the town of Porter.
Right.
We have Chesterton, Burns Harbor. Pretty much all of Dune is provided ambulance service by Porter County. So that would make a great district. But then, it's it's a matter of then that district making sure the other districts have one, because they can't just have one or two ambulances, because they might need a, you know, it's a lot to think about, something I haven't dug into a lot. I've thought about it. I think some of it makes sense, no question, but, you know, I think that's even more of a reason why I think it needs some type of breathing room to, you know, possibly get the conversation going. And if the townships want to do that, and the people want to, you know, have that type of service in that area, then.
Some of these communities, you know, they have, police and fire have to, you know, kind of battle over, you know, whether it's an ambulance or a police car. You know, Valpo doesn't have to, because that's one way you can get another CCD fund. You know, Valpo has two that, you know, the city has one, but the territory also has one too. So to me, it relieves that battle of public safety, you know, kind of battling over capital expenditure money. It's
Good conversation.
Good conversation, and like I said, I know LaPorte did it. It might be, you know, good to talk to somebody over there and see how that's doing and how much that's costing them, and you know, how they approached it.
Good.
Yes, sir.
Well, yeah.
Is that what you just?
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
Any other discussion?
Well, we want to keep paying our bills, so that's why we good budgets. And you know, we want to make sure we have enough. So we want to make sure and give employees raises. So.
Okay, we good? Yep. All right, I'm gonna close our.
We have public comment?
Yeah, well, he's.
Yeah, I gotta close
Close it.
this first.
Oh.
Comment.
No, just close it off.
Open now for,
Opposed.
public comment.
Sorry, Don, I was-
If anybody would like to make public comment,
Are you gonna get the?
we are now in the public comment section of our agenda.
Appreciate it, thank you.
Seeing none.
Going twice, we have
Few things.
a taker. Us-
You know anything about billing, like autopsies and whatnot?
No,
Okay.
absolutely not. No, I have no idea. But I would think that you could bill insurance for something.
No, you cannot.
Why?
This does not cover that.
You can do that for fire departments and ambos.
I
Why couldn't you?
guarantee 100% insurance.
Okay. That's why I asked the question. But thanks for making me feel dumb again.
The county actually pays for these autopsies. And it seems like, you know, the coroner, she doesn't get a lot of help up here. And you want her to basically start billing, you would have to add more to their plate
Yeah.
or responsibility. Just saying.
It was a question.
Revis, I find it interesting that you are wanting public input. What was all this enthusiasm when you were all gung-ho for $5 million to the MOA? Did it take any of our voices, any concerns back then?
What?
Kind of throwing that out there. You're an advocate now for us people, but you were one of the ones that were threatening to withhold nonprofit money if the MOH didn't get their $5 million. Wanted to put that back on.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Are we keeping these comments to agenda items, or?
It's not on the agenda.
Anybody else, public comment? Going once, twice, 3 times, public comment is closed. Thank you. Attorney Harold Harper could not make it tonight, so we'll skip that. So we are in the,
Motion to adjourn part?
making this-
I'll make that motion.
I second.
Andy, I.
motion a second.
You gotta be faster.
All those in favor of adjournment, say aye.
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 Opposed? Meeting adjourned.
Strangled.